This is the Infinite Receiving Podcast, helping conscious leaders like you tap into a wealth of abundance across all areas of your life and business. My name is Susie Ashworth. I am a single mom of 3 and author of the Sunday Times best-selling book, Infinite Receiving: Crack the Code to Conscious Wealth Creation and Finally Manifest Your Dream Life. On this show, I'll be sharing with you how you can upgrade your identity and your reality to create the life that you have been dreaming of. Because you are ready to be an infinite receiver. Oh, hello, you gorgeous human being. It is Susie Ashworth here, and you are listening to the Infinite Receiving Podcast. How the devil are you? I hope that you are doing really, really bloody great. I want to talk to you today about aligning your actions with abundance. It is so easy to forget that we live in an infinitely abundant universe. It is so easy to feel like there is not enough time, there's not enough energy, there are not enough clients, there are not enough conversations. There's not enough. I'm like imagining an audience of people in front of me and just seeing everybody's head nodding. And I can say this because this is me as well. Like, I know that we live in an abundant universe. Like, I know that with every cell of my being, and I forget. And when I forget, I go into push mode. I go into force mode, and I know that that is never the energy that we get to create from. The energy of creation is always expansion. You know, we can't create magic and live into miracles when we are pushing and forcing. Now, it doesn't mean that we can't create. We do create, and I actually think that sometimes those are some of the worst creations because of the way that we've got to the end result. We give ourselves trauma, and that trauma says, we're not doing that again. And the story that we hear in our heads is, but that is the only way. The only way is to push. The only way is to go hard. The only way is to hustle. The only way is. Because that's the only way that my memory knows how to get that result. You know, this is the thing. We talk about quantum leaps all of the time. We talk about big, scary, hairy, impossible goals. And I love that. But what we have to understand is that in order to fulfill on a big, hairy, scary, impossible goal, you have to create a new operating system. We're creating a whole new paradigm when we are stretching beyond what we have always known. However, what most people end up doing is talking about a new paradigm, talking about a big, hairy, scary, impossible goal, talking about a quantum leap, but trying to navigate their way there through looking at what they've done in the past. It can't work. And yet we get stuck in that loop. And that is the feedback loop that says it's not enough, you're not enough, there's not enough. Because based on what you're doing and where you're going, that is actually factually correct. Until we switch up our approach, until we switch up who it is we are being, until we step into another level of fullness, which is all available to us. All of that is available to us now when we decide that we are going for something new and we are approaching it in a new way. So I've got a couple of questions that you get to ask yourself that are going to really help you decipher whether you are taking action from a misaligned place, taking action from an energy of force, an energy of push, an energy of scarcity, versus an energy of abundance, energy of alignment, energy of excitement, inspiration, creation. And the first question is, why am I doing what I am about to do? So if we take this podcast episode, I get to just take a minute. So why am I about to do this? And if it is, I need to do this because I don't have time to fit this in anywhere else, the energy is coming from a place of force and push. If the answer is, I'm doing this because I have a message to share, this feels like the perfect time when I look at my schedule to sit down and share this message, knowing that at least one person is going to hear it and it's going to change their outlook. It's going to change their perspective. It's going to change the way that they approach the next moment, the next day, their life, what they say, how they play. And that gets to be really, really exciting. The energy of that, very, very different. One is the energy of force push. One is the energy of inspiration and excitement and expansion. We want to be making sure that the energy of which we are approaching what it is that we are about to do is coming from that latter place. And if it's not, we need to stop, drop, and roll. We don't need to roll, but we do get to stop and drop what it is that we are doing. Now, the next question is, if the answer to the first question, you hear is coming from a place of misalignment, you get to ask yourself, what would need to shift, change, or rearrange in order for me to approach this from a place of love and abundance? And just listen to the answer. Sometimes the awareness that you are in push mode might be enough to flip the switch. Other times, the answer might be just wait, just pause, choose something else to do. If the intention behind the podcast episode in this example is to create something that is going to change the way that somebody feels, sees the world, shift their perspective, if it's not in alignment to do the podcast, then you get to ask yourself, what would be the most aligned thing? What would be the most aligned step for me to take next in order to create that shift? And then honor the answer. Sometimes it's going to be a completely new activity, and other times it might be to pause. Not forever, it might be pause for 5 minutes, pause for 10 minutes, and then go again. The invitation is for you to start being in communion with your intuition, with your guidance, way more frequently than what you are tapping into right now. And it is in that conversation between you and you that you can start to notice, where am I operating from this place of scarcity versus love and abundance? And then from this conversation, make your choices in alignment with who it is that you desire to be. The more you tune in and ask, more frequently you are going to hear different suggestions of how to move forward. And in those different suggestions and the honoring of those different suggestions, you are going to notice yourself doing things that maybe you didn't expect to be doing. You're going to be creating a new map from which you are operating from. And guess what happens when you have a new map? When you combine a new map with big, hairy, scary goals, and you take action in alignment with abundance and expansion, you start to make hops, skips, leaps, and jumps that don't make any sense, but you're doing them, and the way that you are doing them feels great. So this is your invitation today to start tuning in, asking those questions. Why am I doing this? What is the energy that I'm bringing to this task? If it's scarcity and contraction, what do I get to do instead? Listen and follow through on that. What activity will give me the same outcome? What activity is going to allow me to fulfill on the original intention? If it's not this, then what? And sometimes the answer will be to pause. Tune in for how long? Hear the answer. Honor it. Trust it. And then buckle yourself up and go again. Right, my loves. I hope that this has been helpful. It's slightly different. It's an invitation for you to do things just a little bit differently, to get a lot of things differently when it comes to your results. That is what we are here for. If this has been helpful, then please let me know on Instagram. And do me a favor, just share it with one person who you think might enjoy this. I would appreciate that so, so deeply. And I look forward to being in your earbuds next time. Please remember that faith plus action equals miracles. Thank you for listening to Infinite Receiving with me, Susie Ashworth. I'd love to share with you my Infinite Receiving activation audio. Go to susieashworth.com/activate infinite receiving.